Hey, welcome back to a very special edition of Wrestling Travel Presents. Today we are here with Kyle Hessler. Kyle, people are wondering, what the heck am I doing interviewing you? This is going to be huge. You are running an independent wrestling expo in Dallas, Texas on the 28th and 29th. And I had to get you on because this 2-day extravaganza is ridiculous. It's off the charts. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you. Pleased to be here.
And I want to talk wrestling. I want to talk all about this. I want to talk about how people can get down. So how did this all start here, this 2-day independent wrestling expo? First of all, just my hook to get everybody in this, the likes of Jeff Cobb, Brian Cage, Brian Pillman Jr., so many independent wrestling stars, hence the name, that I can't even name them all. How did this all come about?
Well, don't forget, we got the NWA champion defending the title, Nick Aldis. It's a big one. Yeah. So without spending 30 minutes on this, because this could legitimately be like a documentary. It's just there's so many ins and outs of what happened. The short version is me and my business partner, Stephen Wright. He is a UFC trainer. He works with guys like Razak Alasan. He worked previously with Johnny Hendricks, who was the UFC welterweight champion. He's worked with a lot of different people. And I used to fight with him, or I used to be one of his fighters. We've known each other for about, 10, 12 years or so. We moved down from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Texas together. And we have both been lifelong wrestling fans. And so in the last 5 years after I retired from fighting, he kept doing his thing. And as far as training people, he started a kickboxing promotion. I think in 2018 was the first official card. And he's done pretty well for himself. And he brought me on board as kind of a investor slash, I don't want to say investor, but just somebody to help with some of the promotion, because this is hard. This is a lot of hard work, and boxing and kickboxing is a whole nother different beast with commissions and license and a whole bunch of other slew of things. So he just needed help. I mean, it's not even that he couldn't do it. It's just that you need to divide the load. Well, early in this year when he brought me on, we started playing with the idea, because he knew I love wrestling, of, well, hey, we've already got the promotions license. We've already got the LLCs. We got all this different stuff. Why don't we do a wrestling card? And so it was kind of a mixed collaboration, and it was inevitably going to happen because I'll just tell this quick story. When we were driving down from Minnesota to Texas, that's like a 15, 16 hour drive. And I literally, the whole ride was top 5 tag teams, top 5 heels, top 5 guys on the mic, top 10, like just the whole time wrestling. And so that's how much we love it. And so we, like a lot of people, I fell out of wrestling for a while, circa 2007 to CM Punk, basically. And so just through being friends and living together, we got, wrestling was always in the back of my head. And I would say I got really back into it right around 2015 and started following the Bullet Club and all that stuff. It's just great. So anyway, we have this kind of relationship, and to start the year, we had decided to bring me on board with the promotion, and we batted around this idea of we were scheduling some boxing events, and those all got canceled because of COVID, but we had decided to do a wrestling show towards the back half of 2020. Just so happened that the weekend we had targeted it's always actually been the 20th and 29th. And when COVID picked up, the big thing was figuring out a weekend that is so far back that we could snatch up some of these talents and lock them in on a, not on a contract, but like on a handshake agreement for this date 5 months in advance, so that people would be open to the idea of, well, COVID's bad right now, but I do need to fill up my dates, and down the road, it's probably going to be safer. Turns out that was pretty much spot on. Now we do have to still adhere to a lot of COVID protocols, but that's kind of how it's all come together. And there's a lot of ins and outs with the speak out movement, the NWA, and all this different stuff, good, bad, and a whole lot of different. But it's been quite the ride to try to get this whole thing put together. So don't recommend it for the weak-hearted.
You're right. It does sound like a movie. It does sound very interesting. So tell me about this. Now tell me, you're in Dallas. It's a 2-day event. Tell me, what are, just so our fans know that are going to come to this and watch this, what are some of the precautions that we're taking to protect the talent and the fans?
So because it's an indoor event, we do have to adhere to some more precautions than some of the outdoor indie events that have happened in the last few weeks or so. But we do have some protocols with the wrestlers that I'm not at liberty to share, but just to suffice to say that between working with we're not working directly with the AEW, but they have given guidelines through the people we're working with on what we need to do. So I don't want to say that's an official relationship. I'm just saying we've been told what all the guys were, Lance and all them, what their boss has told them. Yeah.
Right,
and then
their expectations are right.
Yeah. Now the NWA we have officially worked with. That is official. So everything that we are planning to doing with the wrestlers, the NWA approves. So that's good. And you can kind of run through down the line with all that different stuff. So suffice to say, our protocol was good enough to carry on with the show based on those. So for the wrestlers, there's a specific set of guidelines that I'm not really at liberty to share, but with the fans, we will have temperature checks at the door. Masks are going to be required. Social distancing will be adhered. So the one misnomer with that is if you come in a group, you are allowed to sit with that group. The one bit of that I'm waiting on is does it have to be a group of family directly, or just can it be a group? We're still waiting on the city to tell us that, but ultimately it's not going to be a surprise when you will see some people gather together, but then that group will be separated by 6 feet in every direction to another group. So you'll see clusters of people kind of around the arena and stuff, and there'll be some bleachers, and they'll have 6 people, 6 feet of separation. We're also going to have, for the expo and just the event at large, we're going to have hand sanitizers stations where you can just slide your hand and, give you a little bit of the foam so you can clean off. Let's see, what else? Temperature checks at the door, masks, social distancing. So that's about, and then at the expo, we're going to have some special rules about, I know people are going to want to give handshakes to the wrestlers, but we're going to ask that they just do an elbow or something like that if the wrestler's comfortable. We're going to list out, like, not to be a jerk, but we'll just have, like, if somebody's uncomfortable with doing that stuff, it'll list that they're only doing autographs, or they're only doing merch, or they're only doing a photo. And the photos, again, they'll be the wrestler's discretion, but we are going to ask people to take photos from behind the table. So the wrestler will be on one side of the table, the fan will be on the other. And that does suck. I know that, but I think everyone's going to understand that these are just unique times. And hopefully if this goes off well, when we do future ones, we won't have to worry about this. So
that's like part 2 of your movie.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to run a normal wrestling event this big, but now you have to deal with and remember the laws that are going to be different in Dallas than they might be up here in northern Wisconsin. But for the most part, what you and I both know about the wrestling community, the wrestlers and the fans, very respectful, and I'm sure whatever happens with the social distancing on a wrestler by wrestler basis, the fans are just going to be happy to be seeing live pro wrestling in Dallas, Texas. So we're excited. Let's get right into the meat of it here. Night 1 on August 28th. It starts right away you start with the wrestling show, right? That evening. That's the start.
Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
What? Give me some of the matchups off the top of your head that are happening night 1.
Yeah. So we've got in our video we announced that it's going to be a battle royale to determine the third participant in a triple threat main event for the NWA title. So that's a huge opportunity. I mean, there's guys, headlining that to some degree is King Mo Lawal. That's a pretty big name. but we've got some other names, some surprise names. But a lot of those guys, we didn't know how to name this, but the idea is it's kind of like the pathway to stardom. Whoever wins that is going to be taking a shot with, is going to be there with Jeff Cobb and Nick Aldis for the most prestigious title in wrestling. I mean, you can say what you want about the NWA title, but it's up there, And so for those guys, it's just going to be such a great opportunity. And I do want to say this, because we were kind of talking about the COVID stuff. We are going to be doing the Battle Royale is actually going to have some unique rules. It's going to have like a surge mode where there's never going to be more than 10 people in the ring at once. And that's both a safety thing, but also it's part of the rules. So basically the way that Battle Royale is going to work is it's going to start off with 5 guys. Then every 5 minutes, 5 more people will come down. So until we've maxed it out. So that's not a kayfabe rule. That's an actual rule. So, it's actually, but I like it. It's a little different, but at the same time, it actually works for making sure everyone, again, stays safe. So that's going to be a great, I love battle royales, and it was too hard to coordinate a Royal Rumble. So we settled on like the battle royale, but I think this is just going to be, it's going to be the best of both worlds, and it's going to be really exciting. So that's going to start off the card. And then we've just got, do you want to talk about that one for a second?
Well, yeah, I want to just say, let's night 1 leads into night 2 right from that first match.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody is going to get their opportunity to be in the ring with NWA World Champion Nick Aldis and Jeff Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
The next night.
Yep.
That's
huge.
Done. That's what more can you ask for? And that's, I love looking at a card like this, because every match I can't make a prediction. Holy crap, this guy versus this guy. You've got some great matchups. So let's go on. What would be a couple of the next matches?
Well, so we've got 2 4-night tournaments, and so, or 2 4-person tournaments. They're all going to finish up night 1. So the first one is the men's tournament. We've got Jake Logan, Low Rider, Jordan Oliver, and Matt Sydal. And I mean, that's, how can you do any better? I mean, they're going to be, what's the over under on Shooting Star presses is probably like 2.5. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be such a great experience. And, a big theme of our weekend is opportunity. And Matt Sydal's been there. There's no reason not to expect him to be the favorite. But I got to tell you, the young guys in that match are chomping at the bit to knock him off and get an upset, whether in round 1, round 2, wherever. These guys are coming, and they want an opportunity to show that they're the best. So I'm real excited about that. That's a great little mini tournament. I like bigger tournaments, but for the amount of room we had on the card, we thought a 4-man 1-night tournament would be excellent.
You might be thinking, as a wrestling fan, hey, Matt Sydal, he's been there, this and that, but you know what he has? He has a huge target on his back. And you got hungry people coming out from, hey, I haven't wrestled since this entire pandemic. I mean, that's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Likewise, we also have a women's tournament. Same kind of format, 4 women, 1 night. We've got Jordynne Grace, Erica Torres, Christy Janes, and Alabama. Now, for me, I think this card is such a great opportunity because kind of in the same way that Jordan's, I mean, she's a world champion. I mean, you don't get a bigger target in your back than that. But this tournament, I think, has a good mix of, these women are tough. If you don't know who Alabama and Eric Torres is, you're missing out. These women are tough as nails, and they're going to come after Jordynne. And Christy Janes, she's finally gotten a shot on a big platform, and I think she's just waiting in the wings in AEW. She's a future contender in that organization. But for our card, these women are going to beat the tar out of each other. This is going to be a great night. And again, one woman's going to get their hand raised at the end of the night, and you may think it's Jordynne. That's for you to decide, but I wouldn't put anything past these other girls. They're hungry.
Right, and I've been talking recently on my show with the women wrestlers that I have on. This is no longer the bra and panties match is
Yeah.
the eye candy. These girls
Yeah.
may be eye candy, but they're going to bring it and they're going to beat the tar out of each other. And I am loving it that the athleticism from these women putting on matches just as good,
For
if
sure.
not better than the men. And this sounds
Yeah.
like this is going to be right up there.
Yeah. After that, let me just knock out a couple, like, they're special attraction matches. We've got Warhorse versus Myron Reed. Come on. I mean, that's an indie fan's dream right now. That's marquee. Then you've got Snoop Strikes versus Laredo Kid. Laredo Kid, how many 450s can he do in a match? This guy's great. And I don't know if a lot of people know who Snoop Strikes is, but they're going to know after, August 28th. He's really special. So those are some great matches. The last two I want to talk about, or there's three more on night one, but we've got Jacob Fatu versus Chris Masters as our main event. And then we've got Chandler Hopkins versus Lance Archer as the co-main event we're billing it the King of Texas match, because both these guys, they've been talking smack. They've been wanting to get in there with each other for about 5 years. 4 or 5 years. So they've been booked, I think, half dozen times to go against each other, and they're finally going to get the opportunity. So we're just billing this the King of Texas. Lance Archer, Lance Hoyt coming back to Texas to wrestle on the indie scene. This is going to be great. So that match is going to be exciting because most people don't know about Chandler Hopkins. This guy is a future star. There's no doubt about it. This guy is the guy to keep your eyes on for night one. There's going to be some other people that pop out and, who wins the tournaments and who wins the Battle Royal. But Chandler's already slotted in his position. These other guys have opportunities. Chandler's is right there for him. And people are going to be surprised when they see this guy. He's going to be there. And he has to deal with Lance and Jake Roberts. So Jake Roberts is going to be in Lance Hoyt's corner. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Jake is going to be there. Wow. So this is what I love about independent wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it's almost, when I watch stuff on TV, I'm signed for this company, so I only can wrestle in this company. And now people that don't take the independent seriously, which I'm always like, go support your local indie. You're going to see some guys, but you're also going to see crazy matchups that you would never see on TV at this day and age. And top it all off with how many of these wrestlers have gone without wrestling in front of fans for so long. And more importantly, how many of us fans have gone without watching live pro wrestling? So that energy right there is enough to blow the roof off that place.
You and I both were at a live event last week in Chicago Heights, Warrior Wrestling. I've been to two Manias. I've been to New Japan. I've been to Ring of Honor. I've been to everything. That environment, for what it was as hot as any crowd I've ever been to, bar none. So props to Steve and Warrior Wrestling up there. That was a great show. It was so great to be there. And did you catch? I don't know if it was on the live stream, so I hope he doesn't get mad at me saying this. He talked about how that was a historic event. That was the biggest crowd in North America in like 5 months. He was absolutely right. You know what I mean? And that was really cool. So I'm with you. I think when you look at our co-main event, when you look at the main event, if the crowd isn't knocking the roof off at that point, they must not be wrestling fans. That's all I can say.
And they're gonna be by the end of the night. And then the talent. Look at in Chicago, there was not a stinker of a match out there. Everybody brought it. From the pre-show match that you only saw if you were in attendance to the main event that was a huge main event, and it got even huger, if I can use that word.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this expo. But now we're not talking about one night. Now we go into day two on the 29th, and there's some other events happening during the day before we get to the main wrestling. Talk about those. Those really interested me, and I was curious to hear more.
Can I back up just 1 sec? Because I wanted to save my favorite match, maybe of the whole weekend, because it's so special. I don't think you see anything like this on the India card. We're calling this our Super All Beef Elimination Tag. We've got a 10-man Survivor Series style matchup with
Night one?
Night one, yeah. That's why I kind of – it's in the middle of the card, but I wanted to hit it on last because it's a big deal. Like and we're hoping that this goes – like I want people to remember, like when we do the next show or if this is an annual tradition, to be like, when's the next all beef? That was cool. It's all big boys. Like there's nobody less than 225, in this match. These are all, deadlifting 500-pound kind of guys. Like I'm so excited about this match. And these, not in the days of the 90s and 80s where you had big guys, but they couldn't really work. These guys, I've seen 3 of the guys in the match do 450s. I've seen 1 guy do a shooting star. I've seen it all. So let me just run through the names real quick because it's outstanding. We got Team Hammerstone, captained by Alexander Hammerstone. He's going to be teaming with Madman Fulton, Ryan Davidson, Moonshine Martel, and we just added Sam Adonis today. And I believe MK Bandit, Sam's manager, will be at ringside too. So that's not confirmed just yet, but MK is going to be at he's going to be there all weekend. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be at ringside.
Oh.
They're going to be going against Team Mac, which is captained by Rodney Mack, WWE legend, Gabriel Gallo, Black Torres, Apex, and Jake Something. Jake Something I talked to at the Warrior Wrestling. He wanted to be a part of this. He's big swole boy, so we threw him in there. And believe Matt Marvel, who is Apex, who's a real special talent in the Texas indie scene, his manager Matt Marvel will be at ringside too. So it's 5-on-5, 1 manager each corner. This is gonna be a big boy matchup. Like I'm so excited for this one. It's like I said, I think it's totally unique. So just wanted to make sure I hit on that one because I think that's my heart, man. I just love the big boys when they go pound each other and slap each other and super kick each other. Like I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I talked to Billy Corrigan, who I met up in Toronto right before the NWA, and I was talking to him. I said, just got to shake your hand. Thank you for taking that moniker over and doing whatever it is you're going to do. And he said, I just want to go back to the good old days when it was one big bad guy beating up another guy, and they were just thud going at it. 2 big guys beating the heck out of each other. And now this sounds like we got, 5-on-5, 6-on-6, whatever it is?
5-on-5, 5+1 versus 5+1, whatever, how you want to say it, but they're just, people need to keep their eyes glued from that. I might have to, of all the matches that I'm going to want to make sure is released on YouTube for free, that's the one, because I just think it's going to blow people's socks off. It's just going to be so much fun. So,
you know what I love about this card right now is you're naming off a lot of names that I know, a lot of names that I heard of, and then names that I'm not sure who they are, but knowing when you're booking something like this that I'm going to see something special, and if I'm a fan there or if I'm live streaming this, I'm going to learn some names, and I'm going to be looking people up for on the YouTube and stuff like that. That's what I love about something as huge as this. Take me to day 2. What's the expo part here?
Yeah, so let me see if I can pull up a more exact itinerary. But we're going to night 1 is going to end with a banger. We're going to end off on our main event with Fatu and Chris Masters. That's going to be great. And then right after that, we're going to move on to give everyone a night to rest and all that. And then we're going to move on to the expo, which is going to start at about 11 a.m. And this is going to include like autograph signings. We're going to have some contests with the wrestlers. So we're going to have a best body contest. We're going to have some poses, like kind of the, what do you call it? The bodybuilding contest. We're going to have some like strong contests with like bench press, all that different stuff. And those will be just for the wrestlers, but it'll be fun contest to watch and all that stuff. So that'll be really cool. And that's going to go from 11 till about noon. And then right about noonish, 12:30, we're going to have some Q&A with Gangrel, then followed by Jazz, and then Jake the Snake Roberts. And those are going to be kind of a mix of a live Q&A with a little bit of a podcast. So we're still working to find a podcast. So if anyone wants to host it, they're more than welcome to hit me up on Twitter. But we're trying to get somebody to kind of turn that into like a live podcast session. I think that'd be really cool. And then about 2 o'clock, 2:30, we're going to actually have a bunch of the wrestlers come out. Now, we're still trying to figure out if we want to do this in shifts throughout the whole day. I think that's kind of the plan right now, but I'm not sure. But just suffice to say that from 11 to about 3 o'clock, we're going to have autographs available for all the people that are on both nights of the card. So you're going to have to keep an eye out when we release the schedule of who will be there at what time. That'll probably come the week of. So people will just have to pay attention for that. But like I said, from 11 to about 3, there'll just be people available for autographs throughout the arena. And that'll be pretty cool. And then at about 3:30, we're going to actually start our Expo wrestling card. So while this card is going on, there'll still be autographs. There'll still be meet and greets going on. But we will have what we're calling our halftime heat going on. And that will have a couple specialty matches. So I'll just rattle these off real quick. We've got Justin Taylor versus Ryan. Or did you want to ask a question about anything? There's a lot of information.
No, what I want to point out is when we say that there'll be autographs and merchandise available. If you haven't been, we know that this we need to support our wrestlers. So I would assume that I'm buying my ticket to go have the opportunity to watch all this live stuff, but my autographs, my merch and stuff, that's separate. I want fans to understand that. And that's helping to support those individual wrestlers. That's a big deal.
And I'm glad you said that, because we as an organization, the only request we've had of the wrestlers is that they be present for it. It's their opportunity to sell the merch and stuff like that. We as the Expo will not be selling anything. We're not going to have we might have some t-shirts and stuff, but like for the most part, we're not going to have we're not selling anything. It's you and the wrestlers are interacting and selling. That way they're making the money because they need it. Honestly, our money is going to be made off tickets and the streaming services. Their money needs to be made from wrestling, which we're paying them, and then the Expo. So really, the make or break is going to come down to the fans showing up and bringing cash. So straight cash, homie, bring it up. Bring it to the Expo, because those there's going to be plenty of guys who want to give you the experience you want, but reward them for that. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, that's one of the best places, indie show, especially this where you have so much talent under one roof. You're gonna be looking at a lot of really cool T-shirts, really cool items, and getting your autographs and pictures and stuff. I mean, that's important to come and support the wrestlers on their side, as you just said. But let's go on to our halftime heat.
Yeah, so we actually start that off with a very hidden gem of a rivalry. It's very specific to the West Texas area and circuit. We've got Justin Taylor versus Ryan Justin. These guys have killed each other in the ring, and we're almost scared to sign this match, but it's one of those things that if you're trying to highlight Texas wrestling, you can't skip this over right now. These guys have been in these guys have showed up in several promotions, and every time they leave it a little bloodier. So it's going to be a great match, hard hitting. Next, we are going to have David Smith versus Otto Von Clutch versus Cody Lane. Just great little triple threat match. They're going to tear the house down. I mean, that's just going to be like, while people are getting autographs, I think that's going to be one of the stop what you're doing matches and turn around and look at what's going on, because they're just going to be bang, bang, bang. So that's going to be a great match. Then we've got Erica Torres is showing up in the Expo as well. After she's going to compete in the tournament and win, lose, or draw. She's also signed for this match. We've got her versus Kate Killa, and then Miranda Gordy, daughter of the legendary Terry Gordy. So that, she's a powerhouse. If people haven't seen her and know that she wrestles, she is strong. Like, she's big girl strong. So that's going to be a fun little triple threat as well. Then we've got T-Ray versus Gabriel Gallo. Big boys slamming each other. I think that's going to be great. We've also got, as the co-main event at that, we're going to have Chandler Hopkins versus Sam Adonis with MK Bandit is going to be there as well. That's going to be a great little match. I'm a big fan of Sam Adonis. He's going to be the all beef, but he's also going to be here. He's got a busy weekend, so that we're not done with him. We're not done with him just yet. but that'll be a fun little co-main event. And then we actually close the expo with a special attraction. We've been working hard with Advanced Pro Wrestling out of Cleburne, Texas, and they're actually going to have their tag team titles defended. The Pack, which is Shane Stratmore and Apex, versus Stephan Bonner and Chad Box, with King Mo Lawal in their corner. So that's going to be an excellent, excellent tag team title match.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have not got a chance to see Miranda Gordy work, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, yeah. You're going to enjoy her work. She's very good.
And where have I heard the name Stephan Bonner before?
Oh, he's just a UFC Hall of Famer.
Unbelievable.
I
mean, you're looking at some of these matches that are worth the price of admission alone, just a handful of matches, and you're getting – and we're not even done yet.
We're not even done. That's just the expo. I mean, I don't even mean to make it sound like this, but like I said, this is not going to be a full capacity show. People are going to be getting autographs while this is going on. And that's why I'm saying, I think there's going to be a lot of this. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because they're going to be watching these matches, and it's kind of counterintuitive, but we think it's going to work out real well that the balance of, meeting with stars, getting their autographs, meeting with them, merchandise, all that good stuff. That's going to be one thing, but at the same time, there's going to be a great set of matches going on right behind you. So it's going to be, you're going to have your head on a swivel, just keep looking.
So
so
Bonner,
that'll be good.
Doing autographs and merch as well?
Yeah. Every single person on the card will be available for signings. Like I said, keep an eye out for the release of the schedule of when people will be there. We will not have everybody there at the exact same time for COVID reasons, but also just logistics reasons. It's going to be in shifts. I would expect anyone that's on the expo, so of the people you might want that are known, this is not begrudging, but Sam Adonis and Stephan Bonner, King Mo, if you want their autographs, they're probably going to be earlier in that day. So just keep keep your heads up for that scheduling. So.
And then let's plug our socials right now. We'll plug them at the end too, but in case somebody's this far and goes, great, how do I find out? Where am I going to find out about this?
We're actually working right now with Alex Zane. He's joined our social media team. He's actually going to be running our social. He has set up a Independent Wrestling Expo Instagram, Facebook, and then my Twitter is actually kind of the best Twitter to follow for updates. It's at the Kyle Hessler. If you just search Independent Wrestling Expo on Google, my Twitter will come up right away. So,
okay, so Expos, our halftime heat ends. What time does this roughly? Where are we at time wise on the next day?
I'm trying to make sure we get out of there by 5 o'clock or so, just so everyone can head back to the hotel. Which I do want to hit on some particulars later, with the hotels being one of them. But I do, a big deal that we're trying to accomplish is because people missed out on the WrestleMania experience. This is kind of a version of that. I've been to those WrestleManias, those fan accesses. They're great. This is not quite that, because those are obviously on a huge grand scale, but we're trying to get that same kind of feel. And I know personally how exhausted I've been after some of those. So I definitely want to make sure that this is ending around 5:30, just so that people can get enough rest between it and the night 2 matchups. So.
Also, I'm curious, we didn't even talk about this off camera, but
don't let them know about off camera.
No. What am I doing if I'm hungry during this time? I mean, with the pandemic rules and stuff, I mean, obviously that puts a damper on food and drink sales, or how does it work? Or do we not know yet?
No, the Nitex Arena, actually, we have the best of, there's 3 ice rinks. It's not going to be an ice rink when we're doing it, but the arena that we're renting actually is connected to their restaurant, and the restaurant is full service. It's going to be able to be served safely. You can walk up and purchase stuff. We've also coordinated with them, we're waiting on final ticket sales numbers before we can commit to this, but we're probably going to have food stands set up throughout the arena, so that if you want to just grab a quick slice of pizza, you can do that. Grab a slice of pizza and beer, all that stuff. So there'll be food, there'll be drinks, and it's not that fake nacho crap stuff. It's really good stuff. I've eaten there a couple times. Just just to sample and make sure it's safe for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if my weight is showing through the Zoom meeting when I'm at. My questions are all about food and drink. So, but
No,
that's an important thing for everybody.
yeah.
You know,
No,
there's nothing better than having a cold drink or a slice of pizza while you're watching some awesome wrestling. You know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've been at manias where I'm sure you've been to a mania too, but it's just like with how long they get, they eventually break you with those $30 pretzels and stuff. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you a story. We were at I don't want to rip on the venue, but it was in Brooklyn, New York, NXT TakeOver, and we were going to order 18 chicken wings, $180.
Oh
said,
my
no,
gosh.
not on my watch. Not on my watch. We will wait till this is over and go have $1 slice of pizza. I said, I don't care if I win the Powerball. I'm not paying $180 for wings. So
the pricing at the Nitex Arena will be much better.
A little bit better.
That's for sure.
You got to make some money, but it'll be a little bit better. Okay, so now we're back that evening, right?
Yeah. So we'll be back. Both main cards. Doors open 6. Bell time is at 8. Again, I'm trying to get people out of the expo by hopefully around 5-ish. But if you wanted to hang out, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, we will have to clear people out. But if you wanted to just stay and just chill, yeah. So, but the bell time will be 8, so you can go back to your hotel or your house or whatever. Just relax for a little bit, as best you can. So that night, man, we've got all these special attractions. The night is actually we've been told that King Mo Lawal, win, lose, or draw in the Battle Royale, he wants an open challenge. We basically when we showed him the list of participants, he said, I don't care who I have to get signed with, I'm going to wrestle somebody, whether it's for the NWA title or whatever. So this guy just wants to wrestle. He fought MMA and Bellator and Strikeforce forever. I mean, he's got cardio for days. So he's going to open the show, and if he wins that Battle Royal, he'll end the show as well.
That's insanity.
That's the kind of guy he is. I mean, I know him. I've met him a couple times. He's actually partially the reason I'm in Texas. He recommended Stephen Wright for the job that inevitably led us to moving there. So I'm giving this guy every opportunity because he inadvertently gave me a lot of opportunities. He knows that. I've told him it once. I don't think he remembers it. No big deal. But this guy, he could start, close, and be in the middle of the show if he wanted, as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to start with that. So that'll be a banger. So people should be paying attention when whoever comes out. That'll be fun.
Yeah, let's run down all the matches and see where we're at the end here.
Yeah. Because for sure. So that'll start the night, and then we've got a triple threat lucha kind of match with Fuego, Lowrider, and Laredo Kid. Awesome. Jordynne Grace, win, lose, or draw in the tournament, is going to go against Miranda Gordy, win, lose, or draw in her triple threat. Both women. Here's the cool part: the style might be a little bit different in terms of how they get there. Both women have to go through 2 other women to survive to get to this match. So I'm super excited about that because it's going to be kind of like a pseudo tournament final, even though Jordan's going through her own tournament. That's big girl strength. Like that's going to be a big match. We next move on to Chris Masters is actually going to bring back the old Master Lock Challenge, and I'm so excited for this. When we were telling him about this card, he's like, listen, I've got Jacob Fatu. I'm not worried about him. You don't have somebody else signed for me, so I'm just going to challenge people to the old Master Lock Challenge. I was like, dude, I'm a huge fan of that. Let's do it. So that's going to be right in the middle of the card. That's going to be great, old school style. Next, we move on to Gabriel Gal versus Jacob Fatu. That'll just be another just hard-hitting big boy match. Then we're going to have Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed tagging together against Kurt Stallion and Jake Something. Great match. Technically, I think that's the only traditional tag team. Yeah, that's the only traditional tag team match that we got. I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling. We are planning to do more in the future. This was just, it's harder than you'd think to schedule a lot of tag team matches. So that's the only one we've got. So I hope people pay attention for that.
And the one at the halftime heat, right? We've got the title.
Oh yeah,
defense.
yeah. No, thank you. There's just so much. Even I forget.
I know. Everybody watching, we did this on the fly. We decided we got to do a preview show right now. So thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah. Next we got Thunder Rosa versus Alex Gracia. Great match. Those women are quick. That's all. They're gonna be flying around. Then we've got this is where the real, the rest of the card is it's au jus steak or whatever you want to call it. This is your cheesecake sopapilla. This is the kit and caboodle. This is the whole thing. The next 4 matches are, man, we've got EC3 coming off his Impact debut, is going to be challenging Black Torres of AAA. Most people don't know who Black Torres is. This is a beefy luchador. Great matchup. Then we've got Sam Adonis versus Brian Cage. And they just told me this afternoon, this has been 4 years in the making. So they've been waiting for this one for a while. That is going to be a lights out kind of match. And then our co-main event is Shawn Spears versus Brian Pillman Jr. And I'm going to say, I'm calling it the rematch. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but it is. We all know that it happened on Dark a few months ago. They're doing it again. And I think don't be surprised that the results are come out a little bit different. And then we close the night with the aforementioned triple threat, Jeff Cobb, the Battle Royale winner, and then NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis for the belt. Couldn't think of a better way to close the show.
Title is on the line.
Title is on the line. Yeah.
Couple things. Brian Pillman Jr., we both saw him last week at Warrior.
Yeah.
That kid did not take one day off from the gym during this entire pandemic. He looks in better shape than I've ever seen him in. Sam Adonis and Brian Cage got a little mixed up in that main event last week, so this will be nice. And let me ask you about this. Miranda Gordy and Jordynne Grace. Is this a match that, as far as you know, has this ever happened before?
No.
We got a lot of matchups that have never, ever happened before.
You may have seen some of these guys in a tag team match. You may have seen some of these guys in some sort of battle royale, big man match. Most of these matchups, with the exception of Pillman and Spears, I'm 90% sure you have not seen this variation of these matches. So I'm pretty excited about how this is all going to turn out from everybody.
Well, what are the chances that you, in your former fighting career, that you're all fired up from the weekend and you answer the Master Lock Challenge?
I'd have to work on my delts. Like I don't have the strength to break it. So in my world, full Nelsons are illegal. So I can't. I've never had to work out of them. No, that would be cool. I mean, he is. I don't know if most people have been paying attention. That I think a lot of people think Chris Masters kind of left the WWE and just kind of rode off into the sunset. I think this guy's career, and I hope this is with all due respect. I haven't spoken to him personally about this, but I when I found out he was still wrestling a few years back, I went and watched a bunch of his stuff. He's way better than he ever was. I mean, it's shocking that he hasn't gotten a second run at a big company, because his work ethic or his in-ring work is just way up there. That's why we have him main eventing night one. I mean, he is a main event kind of guy for sure. So between that and doing the Master Lock Challenge, I'm pretty excited for people to be reminded who Chris Masters is. So,
no, it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to move away from the talent to the next most important thing. What are the tickets? Do I buy a ticket for the entire weekend? Do I buy a ticket for one show? How is this?
So if you go to tix.com, that's TIX.com, and search Independent Wrestling Expo, you'll have options of one day, Friday, Saturday, or both days. Clearly, I'm going to recommend both days. If you can only make Friday night, it's a little bit it's a little bit cheaper. I think it's only about $50, just because you only get access to that. If you do just Saturday, you will get the expo, and so I think it's $75. If you do both days, it's $100, so you actually save money. And there's also a gold package, a $150 ticket that gets you ringside for every event, access to every event, obviously, and then you also get like a special pass to get cut lines and stuff like that. So clearly, I'm gonna so I'd clearly recommend the 150. And people can, without knowing me, they might not like me saying this, but I'm just gonna say it. Just as a fan, I think that $150 is a bargain. We actually talked ourselves down on that. We just didn't know what to charge, but we kind of just settled on like a 150. I think it's pretty reasonable. And if it's not, I apologize, but we're just trying to do the best we got. But I think it's for what you're going to get, 3 shows plus fan access and ringside for all of it. That's pretty good money for an indie show.
And I'll say it. I'm the outside, but I'll say it. To put together the amount of talent that you guys have put together, renting a facility, obviously you need to have a staff, and you need to have people there making sure that everyone is safe, that the hand sanitizer is refilled, that somebody's taking temperatures.
Yeah.
This is not free for you to put on. So you gotta, and when you break that down into a $150 ticket, when you really break it down, that is pennies for what you're going to get, what you're going to come away with from that weekend.
Well, I appreciate it.
We are excited beyond belief, and we cannot wait. What I'm hoping is we can get some of these wrestlers on these lockdown sessions and start talking about this event, because as fun as it is for you and I to talk about it, I want to hear what these guys have to say about some of these matchups. They're incredible. I'm pre-congratulating you, even though I shouldn't until after the fat lady sings and the show is done. But I know that as much hard work as you have put into it thus far, now the real hard work comes these next few weeks. So if I cannot make it to Dallas, Texas, I will be able to stream it hopefully somehow.
Yes, we are going to secure a streaming service, I think, by the end of this week. We're locking down our production company very soon. I'll just be honest, maybe we're a little late on that, but that has actually been as hard as anything else we've done. It's been pretty, not because of providers or production companies are difficult. It's just it's a logistic nightmare to some degree, and so it will be streamed one way or another. People will be able to see this, whether it's an iPay-per-view, Fight TV, High Spots. We're gonna figure it out. We're in talks with people. They've been very patient with us, and we're just weighing every option, just trying to make sure that this is. I'm a frank kind of guy. We're trying to figure out what's the best financial situation for us, but also what makes the most sense for the fans. So we're trying to balance it all. So.
Right, and the thing that a lot of people think, well, hey, you're just going to make a ton of money by just hiring any old streaming service. We wish it was that simple. There's a lot of production. You want to have good production value. You want to have a good. So my hat is off to you just about the work that you're going through, the work that you're going to go through, and I would imagine August 30th might be a good day to take a nap.
No, because I'll have to take all those guys back to the airport. So.
August 31st, something.
And I don't mean to put myself over, but August 28th is actually this August 28th will probably be my best birthday ever. So pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Happy birthday. Hopefully it'll be
total accident that happened. I promise.
Well, it'll be one to remember one way or the other, right?
Yeah, either man, I thought more people would come, or wow, too many people came. It'll be one or the other, I'm sure.
Awesome. So. Well, we're going to do our best to make sure that we've got a lot of eyeballs on that, because the show sells itself.
Thank you.
and we're happy to.
Well, and I just want to say, and we've been touching it all show, but frankly, people don't know me, but as a promoter, we just got into this, and after talking with all the wrestlers and stuff, everybody's got a story. You would be shocked at how many people COVID has directly impacted. And I want to be careful saying this. I know people want everybody to be safe during this time, during COVID, and everyone's got their opinions one way or another. I've got my own, but I just want to say to those who are really scared and think we shouldn't put on the show, there are some people that are now really hurting financially. People that if I listed their name would surprise you. We are doing this as safe as possible by the city, county, state mandates, by every other, by any measurement. This is going to be the safest possible show during COVID. There's no way to do it any better. And frankly, it's time. It's time. People need to get back to work. These guys, a lot of these, I mean, how many years have you put into the ring? How many bumps have you taken? How many how many things have you had to go through as a wrestler? These guys just want to perform and they need to make money, and it's time. So we're doing the best we can. We're doing as safe as we can. But I want to encourage people, their support is not just supporting me, Kyle. They're supporting everybody on this poster. You know what I mean? They're supporting people who this is their dream, this is their passion. So I just want to kind of end on that note, because I know that that's important to you, that we're looking out for the boys and girls that are step between the ring every weekend to entertain us. So this is our opportunity to kind of give back.
We're happy to be a small helping hand in that, and we appreciate it. So we are going to end our little preview, and hopefully stay tuned. I know we've talked your ears off. You've probably had to watch this in stages on the YouTube.
Yeah.
But we are looking forward to either seeing you in Dallas or having you watch this incredible card on a streaming service. But please, Independent Wrestling Expo, look that up on Twitter, Instagram. We're still Alex Zane of all people doing your social media. Maybe he might have to come out and just make sure the social media is running good, and then maybe he gets himself in that battle royal. You never know.
The lesson I learned from this last weekend is always bring your gear. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. And I will say I've already because Alex is now part of our team. He will be at the show, so that's all I'm gonna leave it at.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much for joining us. We can't wait to talk more about this later on.
Appreciate it.